Good morning, everyone. We are back. We're back. I hope you had a fantastic holiday, a great break. Hopefully lots of you rested, enjoyed your New Year's Eve. I partied pretty hard in Vegas on the 31st, drove back yesterday and ready to start trading with you all. Missed trading with you all. So let's make 2025 a good year. But we're going to stick to the same process as always. We're going to dive through the charts from the higher time frame and work our way backwards. All right, so starting off right now on the daily. All right, on the daily chart, what if you had the last few days since I've been away? All right, you had the retrace back up into this imbalance where we found some sellers. This is your first lower high that we've put in on a daily. Okay, there's the high, there's the lower high. So what are we then looking for once we set a lower high? Trend confirmation comes once we set a lower low. We will need to break down underneath this for a continuation lower. Until we do that, this can be a failure to drive lower. All right, so you have to be aware of where we're at in the session. This is not a good short location unless we break down and start trading under. Also, what can we look at? Where are we at in terms of the Bollinger Bands? All right, lower bull right there. You can see we tagged it in the overnight session, pretty much tagged it into 120s. All right, so we tagged the lower bull. What is the move that we likely do off a lower bull? We come back and we retrace into 5-day, 20-day, which is currently just gone bearish, right? 5 days crossed through 20-day. It's possible that today we trade sideways or trade neutral and upwards somewhere in here to see if sellers come back in and re-attack. That was the trade I was looking for overnight. Those in the room would have already seen what we were looking for that drive back up towards 500s into supply. So on the daily, sort of starting off the day neutral, these are your key levels here. We need to see, are we going to reprice up and come and attack some of these levels, or do we start to find weakness underneath this old low, set in here into this old demand structure? All right, from this old high, we need to be very, very cautious if we're thinking about shorts under here into those levels. That'll be a see money, take money type scenario until proves otherwise. Moving back into higher time frames then, let's go into our hourly chart. And you can see here on the hourly chart, I marked out this level of supply. All right, this was where buyers got stuck here on Friday. All right, and then we sold back into them on Monday and on Tuesday, and today we've come up and tagged into the same area. All right, so this here is your set of lower highs so far, and each time we've set a lower low. So from this high, this low, we've set a lower low. If this is going to remain like this, we'll be looking for a lower low underneath. The problem here is a sufficient amount of liquidity being built in demand here. You have value area low, point of control. If we start to build structure here, this is where shorts get in trouble, like we talked about, trying to short into lows without a clean breakdown on a daily. So it is possible here that if we build liquidity, we come and attack these areas, this 525, 573. A pivot above that will change us into a bullish momentum play on the hourly. You can see why. We will have clear liquidity to start searching for above, if we can do it. All right, if we can do it. Where's my drawing tool gone? Just disappeared. Here we go. And then we'd be looking for the same thing up here for a rotation back into this untested supply level of 900. All right, we have not tested this since we broke down. All right, so this is the cleanest level of supply, so where we know sellers are and it's untested. So sort of starting off today a little bit neutral, waiting to see how we react into key levels. I don't want to get short down here until we have a very, very clear break of structure and move downside, and then I can think about joining in. Moving into a 5 minute, you can see this is the trade we talked about last night, the liquidity built here for the move back into supply, which is what we got overnight. That was the easy money trade in my opinion. We've left buyers stuck up here for now, so we need to see either we continue to reject these levels here, get weak under VWAP, and we come and attack Asia low into an area where we know buyers are, and then we reassess if buyers set up or if we're going to just sell through. Alternatively, if we're going to go for that morning push, we can think about these levels of liquidity up here. Sorry, not a very good drawing. Sort of buying dips into around 300 where buyers showed up, and then a clear break of this and a continuation type play. have to be very aware that we might just chop. Right, most of the liquidity will come back next week. It will not be this week. Most of the liquidity will come back Monday. So I'd sort of say this area here, right, is really a range, and in between that we might bounce between until we get a clear breakout or a failed breakout. All right, steal of liquidity and trade inside. So those are the trades I'm looking for this morning, starting off pretty neutral, because for me I would say that low hanging fruit trade has been and gone. We did talk about it yesterday evening. Let's scroll up, those in the room who missed it. Oh, that's smaller. Okay, so yesterday or last night I was talking about this trade off here, off the lower Bollinger Bands, back into the key levels. All right, nice inversion, come and sweep and look for some of the liquidity back into 500. 525 is where all the stops are. So that was the trade we were looking at yesterday that I alerted. So we've kind of been and done that. That's the low hanging fruit gone, unless it really wants to attack those stops into 525. We have to see now, but so far it's setting a lower high from Friday, and then again Monday, and then again Tuesday, and it is possible that it's another one setting lower overnight. So fairly neutral. Going through the chat now, and then I'll check the liquidity on the book. Morning Coop, Noah, Miguel, Marek, Exister, Mindful Matters, Jeff, Tyson, Aid, Ramus, and Thumper. Good morning, everyone. Morning. So let's have a look at the book then. Not a whole lot of liquidity showing up still. All right, we have some buyers down towards 325s, 300s, but still looks very, very thin. Nothing big and notable for me to really look at. Scrolling back overnight. Where did all the exchange come in? Yeah, very, very thin still. Good morning, Myron. Morning, Eva. So I'm likely to just let this shake out at the open. Some of you have followed me on here and on Twitter. I'm going to ease myself into the market into next Monday, and then start sizing from Monday onwards once I know all the traders are back, right? Because most of Europe will not be trading still. Most people will continue to take this time off until we get to the 6th. So it's only really America that comes back. You guys don't celebrate Christmas as much. You guys celebrate Thanksgiving a lot more than Christmas. Europe will take this time off. They have an extended holiday right now. So dancing around VWAP for the open, which is coming in about 4 minutes. So I'm just getting set up here. Make sure I can see my stream. What did you all get up to for New Year's Eve? Anything fun? I was in at the Sphere in Vegas for the Afterlife show, which was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Marek, you're going to get snow in London over the weekend. Wow. Is it going to settle? Normally that doesn't settle, or is it cold enough this year? Remember, you got these London lows and Asia lows as well. All right, if we're going to be a little bit nasty this morning after that drive up from here, built liquidity here, maybe we have a look at these as well. Yeah, exists. Corporate America doesn't let you celebrate anything. That's pretty much right. You get a lot of holidays, though. I will say you do get a lot of holidays. Thanks, Tomek. Yep, you too. Let's make 2025 a big year for everybody. A big year. So those of you that care, today is the last day for those 90% Apex. My favorite of the year will be by far Traderfy. Right, they're by far the best prop firm right now in the space. Morning, Glenn. Good to be back. So yeah, definitely buyers around 325, 320s. which will be coming in towards that London low that we just talked about. 2 minutes till open. Let's see how we get on here. Market's been trading with really big range, really big range. Those daily candles are pretty large most days, right? So you have to watch your size. Your ATR, I'm sure, over the last few sessions which I've been away has been big. I'm sure there's been 40, 50 point candles fairly consistently. Just trading back to have a look. Yeah, some pretty big moves happening very quickly once it builds the liquidity. All right, so just take your time. I would say for me that the key area really is looking into that 320s, not just because of the liquidity. If you look at the highs that we put in yesterday, or sorry, on the 31st, posts midday, where we kept failing from, we kept pushing into 313s around there. We did that big dump down into 21,120, and then we've reclaimed that level. All right, those 320s pushed up over Asia. On the wrong one, sorry. Right here. All right, these levels here we kept failing from, swept underneath, reclaimed it. All right, it's a very clean RBS type setup. Come back in London, hold. Do we come back in again now and hold? If this starts to fail, then we're going to be thinking about that lower low potentially. Those are the kind of areas I'm looking at. Obviously, there's big demand down here. Big demand down here. It's where they stepped in. So going to ease myself back in, all right, because I've not traded now for, it's got to be a little while, like well over a week. Didn't even take a laptop with me to Arizona for a road trip. Took complete time off away from the screens. Yeah, Exister, exactly. Like they're so cheap right now. The 150, 250, 300, same price as a 50K account. $16 to pick up any of those large accounts. So not a bad idea. All right, so morning session coming in. How do we start here? Trading straight down towards those 320s that we talked about. Remember, we are starting with a gap up. All right, 220s would be a move right down into previous day close. Just gonna have a little scan around. VIX stuck at the 17s. There is gap fill potential lower, like we talked about. Max 7, most of it opening green, other than Tesla, which is in a sell. Wow, down under 400. See, all of this new data for me, which is why I'm just going to take it a little bit slow this morning, because I genuinely haven't looked at anything until last night. Apple under that 250 as well. So are we going to start this year from next week into a sell model? That's what I'm interested in. We will need to make a lower low on the daily for that to start happening. And possibly once Trump gets in, we have that sell the news event. That's what I'm thinking about potentially might happen. All right, so looking now about that 1 minute opening range, you can think about starting to break to the upside here. Do they find buyers through VWAP, or are we going to just expand lower? Not in anything right now, just taking my time, letting this shake out. More liquidity coming into the book, around 310 and 300. Nothing notable size-wise, right? Size still not big on the book at all. Fairly neutral open there. So coming back through VWAP. Do we get this breakthrough VWAP here? There's the breakthrough VWAP. Thinking about taking this long for a scalp, but we're still in downward momentum. But we are holding those 320s. I would have liked to see us drive a little bit lower first. We said the 320s are going to be key at RBS level. A little bit lower first to come and take some of the liquidity first would have been ideal. Ideally through that London low of 316. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see us take out London low, trap some sellers in down there before we start expanding upside. I don't want this to just run away. Definitely popped some stops down there. But I would like to see us drive lower first. And then I'll reassess. But you can see these 320s, that RBS level that we talked about, definitely becoming key. All right, sellers, 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 buyers, buyers, buyers. This is your key level right now. If we start drifting underneath into this demand pocket, or we start breaking down, maybe we get a roll from here to here. All right, and we can think about gap fill potential as well. Right now, the market's starting to behave. That's a good sign early on. So starting to clear out London. Previous day close would be into and around 230s if it's going to do a full gap fill type move. Right, into these levels, that would be your gap fill type scenario if they're going to do it. So break of 300 here, starting to roll over. This is looking much, much better now. Coming into clearer areas of demand, but very, very weak on momentum. So my thought process right now is still very early in the day, is are we just going to sweep to trade back upside, or is downside momentum going to come in now versus the sort of 320? Are we going to become sellers again versus 320 and look to close that gap? Watching liquidity on the book, very, very thin on the book, no big orders. But momentum definitely to the downside, multi-time frame bearish right now. Break of view up, trading down. Watching ES as well. Let me just zoom out. All right, ES doing the same move. Key level for ES right now into these sort of 55s. I'd say the same kind of level. Really now we should just go and fill the gap. It's close. It's close enough that it should just be efficient market and trade down into 220s. There we go. So looking like it's going to attack that Asia level, which would be 230s. Underneath that, we definitely have clear demand. When was that set? Wednesday. Okay, yesterday overnight. So it could just continue lower here if it really, really wants to. And then we get that daily move. We need to be very, very cautious looking for these shorts too far down low. Remember, we're very, very extended now from the flow zones. But here is your gap fill. Complete on the Qs. Very, very weak. Google into a sell. Tesla selling very, very hard. Tesla now down 6.5% on the session. All right, Apple almost down 2%. So those are driving the market lower right now. There is your gap fill complete. All right, so how much lower do we go? PDL now down at 80s. Yeah, VIX on the move through or up towards 18 right now. So into a sort of supply pocket on the VIX. 7% down now on Tesla. Tesla in a big sell-off right now. ES with a little bit more to go, almost there. So Asia taken. Very strong downtrend. Expecting a pop up at some point because we're so extended away from everything, but the sell is very, very strong. Momentum is clearly downside. No bullish structure yet, but we have started to fill these gaps. So potentially some drive upside going to come very, very shortly. Previous day low hanging fruit right now into that old session where we started to create demand overnight. All right, so the next low underneath that would be 120s. Get rid of this. So if we start letting go now, yeah, where's this before Asia? Yeah, 120 is definitely key. Still watching the book. VIX now at 18, all right, key level of 18. Previous day low, very, very close here. So 320s let go, and we've dropped another 120 points since then. So starting to clear out the liquidity. So that overnight push looks like another lower high set. Remember on the hourly, we were talking about the set of lower highs. 1, 2, 3. So really, it should come back down into here. Already letting go of point of control, trading into value area low. Now do we break that? If we start to break through this, we're going to think about that daily move lower. Yeah, sorry. They're still working on updating that. Should be done today. Should be done today. Get it fixed. But thanks for letting me know. I was aware of it, but yeah, was hoping it was done by this morning. So VIX into 18s, through 18s now. We are through previous day low. ES still has some room to move lower. All right, if you're trading ES, it still has room to move lower if it's going to go for previous day low. It has filled all its gaps now, so it is efficient in terms of its gaps. So it's the bounce off PDL. All right, so we've swept PDL. ES has closed its gap. I'm just going to wait now to see the reaction. Remember, your ATR is huge. Like I said, you're looking at 35 points average ATR right now per 1 minute bar. So you have to be cautious with your sizing. Yeah, all it is, the price is going up, but they need to adjust it on the back end on Teachable. So they probably haven't done it, which is why it's still saying closed right now. But the price has gone up. We did say January 1st, price is going up. I said it numerous times for the last quarter last year. The prices were going up this year. Structure's still bearish, but again, this is your low-hanging fruit. Come and swept it. We're far away from the flow zones to think about short right now. Nice little bounce on ES. Remember, if ES really wants to trade lower, it's going to trade back into PDL. It has room to go lower on ES. The Qs have room to trade back down into 120 if they let go of the old value area low, which is where we're trading right now. All right, so value area low created on Monday. That's where we're trading at the moment. Sorry, on Tuesday. See, this is the problem. I haven't been at the charts long enough. This is why I'm going to trade slow and ease my way back in. Starting to get a bounce here. This is where it's going to get interesting. Okay, are we going to start to reprice into these levels up here? Right, something like this, or are we just going to build a bear flag for that roll through 120? This is a 2-minute chart that you're looking at right now, just to make it a little bit cleaner. Look at liquidity on the book. You've got a buyer, a small buyer in there around the 150s. Nothing below that yet. Still very, very thin. Very, very thin. Still in bearish structure for now, but can they offer a trade back up into around here where the flow zones are and go and reprice some of this structure? It's a big sell. If you look at the M15, it's a big sell. We've got another 15 minutes until a new hourly and H4 candle. We've got 20 seconds until we get a new M15 bar. That was a big, big sell-off once we got stuck. New M5, new M15 bar coming now. Back towards the M1 flow zones here. Do we start to squeeze higher here for a reprice? Sellers are hanging around 250, but again, the whole book is thin. This book is thin right now. So volatile moves on a thin book. VIX failing that 18, all right? So they're pushed through 18, failing so far. Does it drive back downside? If VIX wants to trade back down into 1780, 1775, can see if it can find buyers there on the VIX. If it doesn't and it starts moving lower, then we're going to get a relief on this drive down. Here's the squeeze up. Beautiful. So that's a reprice into the flow zones there, into 50s where I said those sellers were. Now do we get that bear flag back down? Or can we go all the way back to VWAP? It's a big move, but this market's volatile. It's very, very possible. So trade back to flow zones here. If we're going to squeeze, we can come and retest 330s. That's where we broke down from. Just think about structure. We broke down from here. Here's VWAP. If we're going to squeeze, we can retest this and then see if we're going to come back down towards the lows. Otherwise, we can think about this kind of liquidity move here after a deep price back down ES closed the gaps, being very, very efficient right now after closing the gaps. I've got one eye on the ES, one eye on the VIX, which is starting to come into that towards those 1780s we talked about. Nice, Aid. Yeah, so you took that move overnight. Nice work. Just ease your way back to get that money. Don't overly force it in one go. So these candles don't look like much, but this is a 100-point move, right? That's how thin this market is right now. It's so volatile. Have to be careful with your sizing. Really, the market can start to accelerate up towards these 320s, 330s if it wants. In terms of a fib, we have this breakdown. Oh, come on. We've just tagged 50%. Move to 1 minute. Where's my open? So nice relief pop here. This will be the key level, all right here. These guys here are going to be the key level. How it reacts into trading into there. Very, very nice relief after closing that gap. Here's the squeeze like we just talked about. So sellers getting trapped or shorts getting trapped at the lows. So you want to be thinking about, can dips hold? Remember, you don't want to be buying too close up here. This is the thing, it's moving so violently. You've got to be pretty quick on this trigger right now. So you'd want pullbacks to hold into 240. All right, that's almost 50 points away, but that's just how the market's moving. ES back to VWAP as well. QQQ back at VWAP right now. And SPY back at VWAP as well. So trading back into supply where we broke down this from this morning into that New York open. Finding sellers there for now. Are we going to build this? This is the question. We need to see how we trade up here. And if we can do that, get through and go for that giant squeeze move. I don't know what we're going to do. This market is very, very violent, but it's possible. It's very, very possible we do that. Here we go. Back to VWAP then. Do they let this through this time? Looking good for that squeeze through VWAP now. Starting to trade this upside now for that inverted head and shoulder type look. Locking in some gains there. Beautiful. Crazy how fast these moves are, but we're starting to hold the flow zones. We're repricing into here. So now we're thinking if sellers got trapped down here, which has caused this squeeze, if their stops, the guys who sold this morning from here, we can start trading upside, targets lower time frame, higher time frame, PDH, obviously overnight high as well. Looking very, very good here. All right, so into runners, and then I'll think about re-adding. Wow, what a market. Don't want to be attacking this too late. If you've missed this first move up, don't worry. You can just wait for it to build the liquidity here now, as long as it's kind and does it and doesn't go like a rocket ship. Back to New York Open. Locking in some more profit here. I'll think about re-adding here if it proves itself to me. But again, that move off PDL after we close the gap on ES, this is a huge move. That's 200 points back upside already. Wow, here's the squeeze. All right, so short's well and truly fucked. They never learn. Chasing the market down at lows. The one thing I said I didn't want to do this morning was chase the market down at the lows. Once we broke that 320, it never gave a way to get involved. All right, once we broke here, it was straight down. So you couldn't really chase this. And then they started to chase structure here, and now they're getting punished. So into the lower time frame algo and previous day open. I think this is now up here. Let's just zoom out, check. I think it's PDO. Yeah, previous day open. So we are definitely building liquidity across timeframes right now. All right, we're going to make it very hard for lower time frame traders. Most lower time frame traders are using 20, 30 point stops. You cannot use that in this market. Way too small in this market. You've got to size down and give yourself room. Glenn Paris caught 75 points from 215 to 290. Beautiful work, my friend. Yeah, sorry about that, Leron. All right, so squeezing continues. We continue to squeeze upside here. Look at this move. On an absolute tear. All right, shorts are in big pain. So we're now trading up towards the overnight highs. All right, so pre-market highs. You have pivots here into sort of 460 and 490. Don't be chasing. All right, you're going to need some structure. Look at the M5, look at the M15. They are monsters. New hourly candle coming in like 3.5 minutes. Nice, Glenn. Great work. So remember the structure we're looking for. Ideally, something like this would be nice. All right, something like this to play off would be nice. Have to be aware that this whole move is a squeeze, right? When we squeeze up, we can expect deep pullbacks. I'm probably going to wait till the new H1 bar now. Lovely, Tyson. Good work. Great work. Two more minutes till the H1. Don't want to see this move too high before this new H1 candle. I'd like to see a pullback into the new H1 bar for then a move higher. Look at this last H1 candle. It's monstrous. All right, dip down into demand into the old value area low right here. Dip down and soak straight back up. I don't want this to expand through these 500s, right? I want it to come back down into here, find some bids, and the new H1 bar allow that move for the low hanging fruit of 525 that we talked about last night and this morning. That'd be most ideal. Yeah, volatility definitely nuts. VIX trading back down towards 730s now. All right, so that's again helping this market move upside. I really want to see a pullback here. Want to see that pullback. ATR is monstrous, like we talked about. You've got to watch your size. If you're thinking about using 10-20 point stops, you're going to get run out constantly. Just size down and give it a little bit more room. This is what 240 point move off that low in a 15-minute bar. Normally that is the sort of range you get on the whole day. Actually, initial balance right now is 242 points, and it's still got another half an hour left to expand, which I think it probably will. So new H1 coming and a new H4 coming. There's expansion straight away on the H1, so not much of a dip there, which is unfortunate. Would like to see a dip back down towards the flow zones and VWAP, all right, to think about, can we build that right shoulder? I don't want to buy high on the session, all right? We are 240 points higher. I want to see if we put bullish structure in around here. If we don't, I'm very aware that this is a squeeze. If they want to give it back, they will give it back. They will do whatever they want right now. It's not an easy market to trade in. It's kind if you're patient and you watch your sizing. But if you force yourself into this market, it will probably punish you. If you chase this, it can easily do 50, 60, 70 points on you in a minute or two. Just building out liquidity here, which is a good sign. I would like to see it go a little bit deeper. I don't want to see it just curl and go here. This will frustrate me if it does it. Looking for a deeper pullback of some value here to get involved in, some form of lower time frame flag or W, something like that to think about playing. Yeah, Glenn, very hard to hold for the entire move. Don't worry about that. Lock in your profits. You're trading great, man. You just said you just passed one. You're close to passing the others. You're doing good. ATR still up at 25 points per 1 minute candle, and that's on a cooler session. All right, we've been trading at 40 plus points per 1 minute candle. Highs of the day were 62 points per 1 minute candle, right? So you got to be careful on your ATR. VIX giving that whole move back. All right, not finding any bids on the VIX. So I do expect us to potentially trade upside if VIX starts letting go. Again, just waiting, looking for a pullback here first. Watching the M5, watching the H1, watching the point of control into around 60, watching VWAP into around 30s. These kind of areas are where I'm more interested in participating if we're going to offer that right shoulder, that inverted right shoulder, before moving higher. Starting to build this now. So something like this would be ideal, or like this, something like that. If it needs to come deeper, you can't just be guessing this, because if it wants to give back, remember, squeeze out can easily give back. But I'm looking for buys here. I want to participate as a buyer, just at a better level. Either that, or we break out and then pull back and I can rejoin if it doesn't come deep enough for me. If we get a clear break of 400, 420 with a hold above and then a pull back in, then maybe I trade off 400. But really, I want it to come deeper. I really want this to move deeper first. Oof, even this, like, look at the size of these candles, monsters. Says 400, it's going to clear the high out again. Still not involved in this. Waiting for that pullback, which hasn't come. It hasn't given me what I want yet. So I might need to wait for a breakout and pullback now. Here's the break. I'm expanding that IB high now. Now at 255 points, 260 points in terms of initial balance. Remember, this is the London high now. All right, we've just cleared and tagged the London high, 420s. 426, I think, was London high. So next level, 460 and 500s, and then 525s. I really want to get involved here as a buyer. It's just not letting me in at a level that I like yet. There's the squeeze, it's the flag. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Flow zone's holding, maybe a bit rusty from my part there, I don't know. Very simple, isn't it? But maybe just asking for too much. Oh, how do I get back there? Maybe asking for a little too much there. Shorts are definitely offside. We know this wants to drift higher. Value area high now has just been tagged. All right, 450 is basically value area high. If we're going to expand the value area, we're looking at 490s, 500s, 525s, and 570s. Thank you. There's my morning coffee. Hopefully some of you got that flag. Maybe I'm being too fussy. What I'd be very aware about now, though, is if this is it, if we start trading down through here, I'm going to be very, very cautious, right? If they trap buyers up here and then want to do the deeper move, I'm going to be cautious, right? Because we are definitely building liquidity higher time frame, all right? We're building liquidity between key levels. Nothing's changed overnight, all right? Those who traded and are in Discord, when we talked about the range, we can look at it here on a higher time frame. Nothing's really changed. Okay, here's your range, 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 range high, range low, range low, range low. This is your liquidity build between these sessions. All right, so what I don't really want to do is trade in the middle. Buying opportunity was down here. Selling opportunity was up here. If we trade through it, it'd be a buy opportunity to the next level, sell opportunity, create liquidity, buy opportunity above. What we don't want to do is chase into key levels. All right, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. Let's get this stream moving. I hate saying it, but got to do it. Get the algo back on side for 2025. 50 of you watching, only 15 of you have liked. Hit that like button. Do me a favor. Most of you should be nicely green, all right? Most of you should have either taken that fail underneath the 320s or taken that move back upside. I want to be cautious if it starts to build trendline liquidity up here. If it starts to build trendline liquidity up here, it's going to use it at some point and come and clear them all out. Thank you, team. What do I mean by that? I mean, if it builds like a clear little trend up here and can't get through, it will come and sweep them, and then it will think about doing a move later. Most of Mag 7's green, right? Tesla down to only 3.5% down. All right, at one point I think it was 7 or 8% down on the session. We're absolutely smoked at the open. Apple only 1% down now, so starting to claw back some of those losses. The rest of the tech looks great. Nvidia, Meta, both 2.7, 2.8% up. Google 1.2% up. Amazon 2% up. Microsoft almost 1% up. So just Apple and Tesla weaker on the day. Bonds down just over 0.5%. Good for the market. Gold up about 1%. Just having a look. Dixie up about 0.45%, 0.5%. VIX starting to find some bids there into those 17s, the low 17s. So the same level for the last few sessions, it looks like. Nothing's changed here, team. I'm looking for buys. I would like us to just come back a little bit further. I really don't want to buy high, but we are definitely building that quasi. All right, we're building that quasi type look, all right, to come and attack these levels. You can use like a higher time frame if you can't see them, all right? What are the levels we're going to look for? All right, these pivots here, 5-day up here as well. All right, remember we said if we're going to move lower from, I'm going to go all the way back to the daily. What do we say at the start of the day? And I said it to the team yesterday. Let's get rid of that. If we're going to move lower off the lower Bollinger Band, what is the normal move? Back test the 5-day, 20-day and allow the lower Bollinger Band to roll over before we go back. If we trade through 5-day, 20-day and base, we're going to go back towards high Bollinger Band. Notice the bolls are starting to tighten. This is where you get squeeze events, either upside or downside squeeze events once the bolls start to tighten. That is because we are building higher time frame liquidity. Dip's definitely paying today. Every dip starting to get soaked. There is a buyer down at 300. It's pretty far down. What I'm not going to do is just buy up here high. All right, even if it drifts up high without me, that's okay. So SPY just traded into PDH. Or the ES, sorry. Same. Let me just check if SPY, yeah, also PDH, all right? So they're ranging between previous day close and previous day high. They never came into previous day low. They closed the gap, very, very efficient, and have traded into previous day high. Remember, NQ's previous day high all the way up here. But one eye on the ES, all right? If we're going to have an inside day, we're just going to trade between PDL and PDH, aren't we? So we can produce an inside bar here across the indexes, which would be what? It would be a liquidity building bar because we've got no breakout traders in the session. We're only going to get breakout traders below and above previous day high and previous day low. 17 minutes or so left. Your initial balance now is 277 points. Absolutely wild. So 268 looks like where it wants to head for at the moment. 268, 468, sorry. Come on, mate. I'm out of rhythm streaming for sure. A little bit rusty. Still waiting for that deeper pullback. That's what I'm going to wait for. I'm going to wait for buyers to get trapped, a deeper pullback, and then to see if we can do a microstructure. Right, because we're building that trendline liquidity now. This looks like an easy stop run down to something like this, or maybe like this, something like that to get involved in. That's what I'd like. If we're just going to fail under here, I'm going to be very, very cautious that we don't come way, way deeper. What I'm not going to do is buy up here. Just asking to get slapped, I think. Really want this an M5 pullback. We've been straight upside since 9:45 on the M5. Every close has been higher. Better. The deeper, the better here within reason. A clear out of 370 would be nice. Clear out under here would be really nice. Just a dip below 370 and then a reclaim would give me confidence that we can then go higher with shorts having a stop at the high of day in the New York session. That would be really good. Just sitting on my hands for now. Like I said, easing my way back in. All right, easing my way back in. Better, come on, lower, 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 lower. Come on, attack that 370. Would be ideal. I'm not looking for the short here. I'm looking for it to do that to set up a long. Looking for a drive down lower to set up a long. If you take the short here, you are guessing a top, you are counter trend. There's nothing in this market which says short on this session so far. All right, on this session. Just feels like a giant elastic band for the last, for quite a while really, since we put in that high. Right, we're just stretching one side, stretching the other side, stretching one side, and the band is big. Right, the range on the day is big. There will be a lot of new traders getting caught offside in these markets. If you've got bad habits in this market, you will learn your lesson the hard way. If you add into a loser in this market, before you know it, you've added into a 200-point move losing and you will blow up. All right, you have to respect the pivots in this market. NQ loves to run much, much further than it should as well. You have to remember that. Here we go. Finally. Okay, so how low can we go here? I would like to see them come and take out 370. I really would. And then I'm going to think about how the market acts, right? Does it come back to VWAP and get a bounce, or are we then just going to stay heavy for an inside day and just rotate that initial balance up and down and up and down? It's very, very possible with an inside day we're going to do that, especially looking at ES. The fact that ES has taken out previous day high might suggest that we're going to move for that inside day move. Come on, lower, lower, lower. We need to go lower first. I don't want to base up here. All right, so I'm going to be thinking about if it offers something like this. If we break down and stay heavy, then I think we trade back inside the range. Sitting right at POC right now. All right, so back testing POC. I still want us to go a bit lower first. I really do. It's very, very thin on the tape. Biggest order on the tape right now is at 300, and it's a small order, really. 88 lot. That would be a deep pullback. There we go. Beautiful. Deeper, 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 deeper. Please keep coming into the deep pullback flow zones. I still want it to go deeper here. I want us to break down underneath 70 and then see how we act. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so we're trapping all those buyers at the top, and when it means shorts are going to come in, they will now have their stops at the high of day. So the deeper we can go here, and then looking for a bullish structure for that move back upside if we can trap enough shorts in at high of day. Will not force my way into this market though. If this wants to give the whole move back, remember it's a squeeze up, we can trade back downside, but I'm still thinking about this inverted head and shoulder, how we're going to use this liquidity right here, right? But cannot be just guessing this. If it wants to do this, it will do this. Right, we're very, very thin. Like I said, biggest order in the book was down at 300. Can't even see him there now. Now he's back. Yeah, 93 lot down at 300. Very thin. All right, so dipping underneath view up here. Still on the tape at 300. He's only a 93 lot. I mean, it's not like it's huge size. Yeah, exactly, Coop. Super, super thin. Super, super thin. There's 300 taken. So again, no reason to get involved yet. Very, very thin. Thin up, thin down, right? It's that kind of typical thin up, thin down move so far. Is this even backtest VWAP, or is that the end of it? Is it game over kind of scenario? I have no idea. So this is Tesla selling now, back down to 5.5% down on the session. What a wild market. Still inside bars, remember, we're still inside bars. Big clue that that sell might start was that ES trading through previous day high. Wow. What a market. So do buyers come back in around 40s? I don't know. Buyers on the tape here, but very, very thin still. I mean, honestly, I'm looking at like 20 lots and stuff here. It's and teens, nothing notable. Like I said, I think everyone's going to come back Monday. Most people come back to this session on Monday. Look how quickly it's given this move back. 7 minutes left until we set the initial balance. Are we going to go from IB high to IB low in the next 7 minutes? It's very, very possible looking at it. Very, very possible. Wow. I'm just watching the M5 bars. Like, they are monsters. Monster bars. Repricing to 32 would be previous day close again. Is that 32 or 30s, 20s? Wow. And that move from the top already like 100 and, is that 150 points or something? Insane volatility. So the ATR picked up there up to 54 points on that puke. VIX finding some bids trading up to 1750s now. Again, extended from flow zones. Nothing to do here. Very, very hard to get involved in anything today, really, in my opinion. Oh. Buyers and sellers on the book, but again, just 20 lots, teens, 30 lots. Expect some relief maybe back towards VWAP at some point and then see if they set a lower high for that first bounce short. I don't know after we flip the flow zones. Maybe 300. Maybe they don't even allow it to go back to VWAP. Maybe they fail 300. Here's the squeeze. Just shy of 300 here. Where did they get 293s? Honestly, it's so thin. So no bullish structure yet to get involved in. It's come very, very deep. Like we said, squeeze up, it can fail back down deep. Problem now is we've let go of VWAP and the flow zones. All right, so thinking about buys now is a little bit dangerous. It's a little bit dangerous to be thinking about buys right now. Lovely. So where do we get? Do we get through 300 there? Just through it. 320, still not a VWAP. What's tricky here is you would expect a first bounce short off a move as violent as that. The problem is we're just inside a range. So let's say we trade up here, a first bounce short, unless it takes out this, then we retrap for the W and a move back up. The hardest thing with this, again, is the volatility. All right, the hardest thing with this is the volatility. But see how it acts at VWAP here. Yeah, sorry, Coop. Yeah, I've just got some oats. So maybe first bounce short, maybe a bear flag, setting up for that rotation back down. I don't know. This is super, super tricky. What's happening is it's giving very, very violent moves. All right, so unless you take this violent move, it then doesn't offer you a pullback really to get involved. Unless you take this violent move, it's not really offering that much of a pullback to get involved. So it just seems so thin that it's going through every single level in one go without offering too much structure to play. But it's okay. We expect a move down after a violent move down like that. We would expect to move down unless it retraps. Just a couple minutes left until the initial balance. We're trading right now at value area low again. So we've gone from value area high, extended the range through POC to value area low in like seconds, literal seconds. So there's the pullback, and here is the failure. All right, so the first pullback didn't even make the flow zones, so you'd expect this bear flag to rotate back down. Remember, we found buyers today here. So your range will be to here. You must partial out into there. If it can't break structure, you need to be very, very careful because we're coming into IB. If we fail that, what was that, level 166? I've got to look higher time frame. Then we'd be looking for 120s if we fail it. Like I said, if we start reclaiming this, be cautious. This is your range right now, between here, and this is dancing in the middle a little bit. Oh, nice, Coop. Good for you. I need to get back in the gym after some time off. Looking forward to going. But I've done so much driving. I drove from LA to Arizona, and then I drove all around Arizona and Nevada, and then from Arizona to Las Vegas. And then yesterday I did the trip from Las Vegas back home after just a few hours sleep. So my back is in pieces. So maybe I'll just do some light stretching and cardio today and then start hitting the gym. Yeah, I've just got some oats and natural honey here. Initial balance now set, and we are playing inside. Dancing at value area low right now. Still favored downside here. It's just the bounce is so weak. ES, remember, didn't take previous day low, and NQ didn't take previous day high. So you have some divergence there as well. Here goes VIX back to previous day high. Can it go back for that high of day through 18? That's the question. So that first bounce short working here. We said 300 and VWAP rolling over. You must take a partial into this team. You must take a partial into this because where buyers showed up earlier in the day. Hold your runners because you have a chance to go through these levels here and head down towards 130s, 120s, sorry. So 120s here. You have a chance to do this move here, especially if ES really wants to go for its previous day low, which it hasn't taken yet, whereas NQ has. All right, so, but you must respect this level here. This is where buyers came in this morning. Please make sure you're taking a partial there. It might not look like very much, but that is a very big move down for a continuation trade already. Catch you later, Coop. Definite inside day here. Trapping both sides, building liquidity. All the key things you'd look for on an inside day are starting to happen. Like I said, hopefully you've paid yourself on that move down. Oh, I'd be interested to hear about that, Tyson. When you say you felt really good, like, did you feel strong? You still had energy? TR, yeah, we took it on NQ, but we didn't take it on the ES. All right, so there's divergence there. So ES took previous day high, but didn't take previous day low. NQ took previous day low, but didn't take previous day high. If we break below pre-DL on here, we can trade to 120. Right, that's your hourly pivot and daily pivot. Daily would be 21,000 actually. Hourly would be 21,120. You'd need ES to want to take previous day low out, which it hasn't done. Yeah, we're not talking about Asia session though. I'm talking about New York session. I don't care about Asia. I'm talking about where New York trades to. But yeah, Asia definitely swept previous day low. But I'm just talking about London. New York. New York's where the volume comes in. That's what I'm interested in. Yeah. So continuation lower still looks good for now. Again, I expect conditions to stay like this probably tomorrow as well. And then Monday, I think you get volume coming back into the market and we'll start to see what's what. Yeah, I remember reading, I don't know if any of you done it, there's a Limitless show, very basic stuff, but really good on, I think is it Nat Geo? Whatever comes with Disney, hosted by Chris Hemsworth. It's really good. He talks about ketosis a lot. Yeah, I might give that a go, Tyson. I have way too many carbs in my diet, and I think if I cut those out, I'll feel a lot better. So not too far away now from low of day. Not in this to the sell side. All right, didn't get this structure here. This was nice though. This push into 20s. Again, very much like this part here. Be careful of this part here if we just do this, all right? Because the sweep becomes very easy, just like this did become very easy here. We're still just really in a range. There's no breakout traders in this market. We're in an inside day still. Tesla almost 6% down. Apple in a sell again, almost 2% down again. All right, so those are the laggers. There you go. Like I said, you have to be very careful where it builds liquidity that way. It becomes really easy to go and hunt them. Yeah, Tyson, that's me. As soon as I start, that opens the gate. Apparently, eating olives regularly in your diet takes away your taste buds' need for sugar. So maybe why I had so many dirty martinis on New Year's Eve, or that's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. So testing value area low. Looks like we want to expand a bit lower here. These H1 bars are gross. The last one, H1 soaked all the way up. Now we're trading all the way back down. But still inside bars on the daily still. Flow zones in downtrend. But this is where buyers showed up. All right, so partials into here, runners below, and IB rules will apply. 120 being the key level right here. It's your key level. If we do this and taper, we go back to VWAP. IB low, back to VWAP, common trade. Even now you can think about things like anchored VWAP off this high. All right, so we came back in, look at that, perfect. Tagged it for the sell back down. All right, so this is where sellers are in control. Do that as a red line, make it easy. All right, sellers are in control all the time that red line's holding. Off higher day, sellers from higher day. Good to know. Maybe I'll try that with you, team. And are you still doing 3 meals a day, or do you cut that, or are you doing small, like 5 meals a day and just like smaller meals but more regularly? Continuing to sell here. That 120 will be a target if we start to break beneath these daily lows. But again, like I said, it should be a partial out into here and holding runners for it. Then we can think about how we act when we get down here. I'd be very cautious about this trade back inside. Slow day to start the year for me. There we go. So through previous day close now on the Qs. Looking at that previous day low, initial balance low, and these 120s if it's going to really go for it. ES right into that same level. It's back to previous day close on the ES and its initial balance low. All right, IB rules here apply. You're either looking for an auction lower or a failed auction and rotation. Nice one, Tyson. I will do that. Thank you. Yeah, I will do that to you. I went vegan for 18 months, mainly veggie if I'm honest. But I really struggled with it. I felt really, really weak doing that. I don't think I'd ever do that again. Just doesn't suit my blood type, I don't think. And I was supplementing as well with iron and stuff like that and B12. But it's not the same. Supplement's definitely not the same as getting the real thing. Tesla continuing to sell here. Down 26 points on this session now. Apple expanding lower, 2.2% down on the day. Google starting to go more neutral, not too far away from its open close print. Could go green to red if you're not careful here on Google. The rest look pretty steady. Meta 2% up, Amazon 1.2% up, Nvidia 1.7% up. ES holding its IBL for now, okay, but I still think we're going to sweep or expand. Cool. I'm genuinely gonna have a good read up and give it a go. So we're back to the area where buyers stepped in earlier. If you took this short, please make sure you're paying yourself. All right, you do not want to hold this and suddenly see a swipe up towards 320 and give back, 80 to 100 points of this move. Make sure you are paying yourself some money here and then holding runners. If you took that first bounce short, all right, this was a nice play here for the sell. All right, make sure you're paying yourself around here and then runners for this move. You don't want this to do this up here and come and sweep this liquidity, which it can do if it really wants to. Especially if ES fails to get below that IB. Remember, IB has been set. 277 point of IB. All right. VWAP sitting at sort of 330, so 100 point higher. Can do a 100 point squeeze like that in this market. Just looking at the book, seeing if any orders come in under 200 right now. Back to IB on ES or there or thereabouts. Potential bear flag for a re-break down here on the Qs, but it's tried quite a few times to get lower here. It needs to go and attack it violently to have confidence here. Still not breaking down the IBL on ES, not attacking it yet on the NQ into the area where buyers have been showing up. Hasn't come to that whole number of 200 yet, interestingly. Remember, potential squeeze up here to clear out these levels. Up into view up, you have your anchored view up here at 87s, 88s. Would not be uncommon for a range rotation to come and sweep everyone out here like we talked about. Very similar to this move here is this move here. And there you go, there's the squeeze. Like I said, you have to pay yourself. This doesn't look like a lot, but you will be pissed off if you're giving back 40, 50, 60, 70, 100 points for this squeeze back up. There we go. So relief on this move then. It's so similar to earlier. If you look at the structure of what we did at the high of day, it's exactly what we're doing now towards the low of day. All right, tightening of the range. Still heavy at 300. Built almost like a triple top there for it to go and sweep now on a lower time frame, which might trigger a move to 320 and then view up if it can get through 300. Just for that squeeze up, and then have to see if sellers come back in. ES trading between previous day open and previous day close. Remember, we are in an inside bar on the daily. This is liquidity building on the daily with the 5-day trending below the 20-day. We are building liquidity for the next move. It's starting to add liquidity up now. 312, 325, trying to drag it up there to go and run those stops. There you go. There's the run. And this is why I'm saying you have to pay yourselves when we come into areas where we know buyers have been earlier in the session. Violent moves in this market. Back to VWAP now. Remember, this could come quite easily all the way back up to here. Remember, this is your range on the session. All right, and this is midpoint, so we can just trade between the two. Chop everyone up. This is basically starting to build chop, right, which will tighten and tighten, but the range of this chop is monstrous. See how it acts here at 300. If they let that go and it goes back down to low of day, it'd be funny. There's 300, tap, tap, double. They're on the book lower, which is interesting, at 87s and underneath. Here it goes. There you go. That's what I was worried about. Taking some of this short now for a breakdown. Beautiful. So I'm in short covering some here into that imbalance. Let's see if we can really start washing here. Move my stop down with it. Violent moves, like I said, you have to be careful. Can't believe how much money I've just made on this move. Absolute insanity. So this was clear out of stops, trading back inside. Now, if we start to break down now, we've cleared out everyone, and then we do the move. If we hold this imbalance, we've got tapering and a hold for a squeeze back up, right? If we hold this drive up, this engulfer, this is a pullback. If they hold this, then they try and rotate. If they get through VWAP, we go back for supply. Intraday supply is here. We trade through that. We either do a failed breakout or a breakout retest and go. It's the same thing over and over again, but notice the patterns. I want you to notice these patterns. This is the same as this. This is tapering. This is buyers getting caught. This is sellers getting caught. We don't sell where we know there is structure of buyers. We don't buy where we know there is structure of sellers, okay? We want to think about buying this. Ideally, this would have done this move, and ideally, this would have done this move, but the market wasn't very kind today. Now we're holding this engulfer. All right, so now you need to see if we can get through VWAP and expand back to supply, right here. Hopefully that all makes sense. It's a violent market. You have to be careful. Some of these candles, that last candle was 55 points, right? 55 points. And it's in an M1 bar. It probably happened in the space of like 10 seconds, in all honesty. It will be people stuck covering positions. Get rid of that anchor now. So inside bars, likely to just build liquidity. All right, trap intraday buyers and sellers. Hopefully some of you have made good money on these moves up and down. If you took just very, very simple structure breaks today, you would have been good. This one was nice that we talked about, and you must cover here. This doesn't look like a lot, but look at this entry from 12s. That's 100 points. It looks tiny, but that is a 100-point move. It's huge, huge, huge move. So one thing with futures, it's very hard sometimes to see when ATR is up to understand how big these candles are. They just look like a normal day of 5-10 point candles. These are not. These are ranging on average on the session, on New York session, average is around 38 points per 1 minute bar on the NQ. That is serious, serious size. I'm watching to see if we fail this for a rotation here, and then a rotation to this, and then maybe a failed auction and back inside. If we trade through VWAP, I'm wondering if we trade to supply. And if we're going to do that, I want to see if we do a giant one of these. All right, so for that to happen, I will need Apple and Tesla to start playing ball. Nice, Miguel. Yeah, let me know how many of you are up today in chat. So drop a 1 if you're green, drop a 2 if you're red, and drop a 3 if you haven't traded or you break even. So most of you are either green or break even. Myron a little bit red. There you go, Kathy, still money. Yeah, Elliot, I don't blame you. There isn't much there. There isn't much there. Nice, Steve. Good work. Good work, Laurent. Yeah, if you're 3 today and haven't taken trade, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'd much rather it's that than a 2. I mean, these are very, very violent, very, very violent moves. All right, so we were talking about that 320 level and either looking for a sweep of that to get involved or a sell, and all we did was sell straight down, and then we bid right back up, and then we've sold pretty much straight down. That's your first bounce, and even that isn't much. I mean, we would have really liked to see this bounce come into here for the sell back down. I think the options traders are having a lot of fun today, and I don't mean retail options. Yeah, TR, I feel the same. I feel the same. I was at the Sphere until very late on New Year's Eve, and then it was impossible to get a taxi home. I was late for dinner and late to the Sphere because you might have seen that Tesla, which was exploded outside the Trump Hotel. Well, don't believe the news. They knew very well that that was going to happen. They stopped and I mean this, they stopped every single car on the strip. They closed down the strip and stopped every single car to have a look inside, which meant, imagine how many cars and Ubers and taxis are driving. They stopped every single one. They knew something was going on. It was very obvious. Like, we all thought, this is really weird. You couldn't drive to most of the hotels. A lot of the strip and the hotels were closed, which means it was very hard to get a taxi. So I had to walk from the Sphere through the Venetian all the way to the Wynn just to get a cab. And then we saw that the next day. But yeah, I was at the Sphere until late at the Afterlife show, which was awesome. And then I drove home yesterday with my wife and a friend and a dog, my dog. And now I'm pretty much exhausted. So I already said to everyone in the room, I will start trading more aggressively from Monday. Any gambling? No, I actually didn't have time. We didn't get to Vegas till the afternoon, and then sat in the hot tub and relaxed. And then, yeah, went straight to dinner at the Aria, and then straight to the club, and then home. So I didn't gamble. Nothing for me. It was good fun. The Sphere is insane. That show was absolutely nuts. I was very lucky we had a suite for some of our friends all together, which was amazing. So we got involved, got fully stuck in. Where am I from? I'm originally from the UK, but I live in Los Angeles. So question here is very, very simple. All right, are we going to hold this structure here? Is this going to trap shorts, and are we going to do this? Or do we start to break down underneath, and these buyers get trapped, and we go for a continuation? I have no edge here. I'm going to be honest. I have very, very little edge. I would say we're in a sell, but I know that this range here is where buyers have come in all day. So location is not ideal. All right. The location that I sold in was this move here, a snap short, right back down. Doesn't look like a lot, but that was 80-point trade in 30 seconds. Absolutely insane. There you go. So ES looks like it's going to break down now. The M5 on the ES looking much, much better. Have to see how it acts at sort of previous day close and the IBL, which are at the same spot. Right. If ES is going to trade back down to previous day low, then I think we can get expansion down here. Right, and then I wouldn't be thinking short underneath here for now unless it retests and prove it itself. But I think if this is going to break down here, then we run this. If we run this, we run straight down to here. And then you have to think about auction theory. Like, do we do this kind of move for lower, or do we just trade back inside to VWAP? Remember, under here, we have breakout sellers involved. This is where they can get trapped if we don't go into a true sell day. Microsoft now going green to red. All right, Google not far away. Nvidia and Meta and Amazon looking strong. I don't think they go green to red today. They look pretty strong. So mixed board. What's just gone green? Is that the 3-year? 2-year Treasury's gone green. There's ES sweeping out its IBL. It looks like it's going to want to attack that previous day low now. So can we get involved in a short here? Is it going to offer an opportunity to get involved? There we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Lovely. Partial out into this. Watching ES if it's going to really break down here and go for PDL. That's some copier issues there. That's a little bit annoying. Well, I mean, you say that, Ilya, but Nvidia, Meta, Google, and Amazon are weighted much, much heavier in the Nasdaq than they are on the SPY, right? So it's holding up a bit better. If you had a look at the other sectors, I bet you like energy or banking is weaker today. Stronger today, sorry. Got to call my words right. Outside the Max 7, it's probably more neutral or stronger. But ES is starting to break down here. I'd be watching ES for that trade underneath IBL to see if it can take out previous day low into 17s. That's what I'd be watching on the ES. All right, if it does that, and it can then head for that overnight low into 11s. Remember, you are now into an area where buyers have been showing up since New Year's Eve, since the 31st on the ES. This is a very typical range rotation day from here to here. VWAP test, maybe IBL test, and either expansion or a trap underneath and back to VWAP. Need to watch that IBL on the ES here. It's going to go for a reclaim or expansion. So here's the test of it. IBL on the ES is also PDC. Still favor a downside move here on the market to come and clean out everything beneath, but it's violent. You know, we can pop up to 60s before we do that. We can pop up here before we go down if it wants. All right, so I'll be looking for a bear flag build for a move down here, partial into here, and then runners into here, and then see what's what. Nice rejection there on the IBL on ES there and PDC. All right, so if you took that, you're already 6 points up, that drive up on the ES. Good chance of expansion lower here if it can get going. Hi, Daniel, reversal. I don't know what you're calling reversal on, which way you're thinking about here or why. But for now, we're in downtrend. ES is under IBL. NQ is not quite there yet. We have targets underneath it can go for. We are in a sell. I wouldn't be looking for buys right now. Nothing's changed here. We're in a sell. The biggest problem, again, or the biggest thing that you need to manage is your risk and your sizing with the ATR. Like I said, this can come up to 60s before it continues lower. You'd want ES really to stay heavy versus PDC and IBL. Really don't want to see this reprice all the way on the ES to 45, which is possible. But if we're going to go into a sell, you need it to stay heavy versus it. Beautiful. So can we get the bear flag continuation lower here? ES looking very, very good. We have targets below. I think here we go. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You want to see expansion now. Don't want this to mess around too much. All right, so make sure you're locking some in. Even each of these moves on the 1 minute is offering you 30 plus points. Don't be scared of taking partials into key areas where you know buyers are and then holding runners. Into a new hourly bar here as well. Would like this hourly bar to just come and clean everything up. I'd like this hourly bar to come down to 120 on NQ, ideally. Anything below 95 is good, really, to be honest. But look, beneath 195 is basically value area low. So I'd like to see point of control hold, 30s. I'd like to see us stay heavy versus 30s for an expansion lower. That would be the play I'm looking at right now. And I'd want ES to stay expanding underneath previous day close and initial balance low. If it starts trading inside, I don't like this trade. And I'll just wait. Like I said, this can reprice up to 60 if it wants, which is not ideal, but there is an imbalance. It can easily do that on a squeeze before rolling over. I'm not in anything right now. I took my money out at the low of day or towards low of day. I'm looking for a re-entry. Upside reversal. I mean, it's possible, but there's no setup. Like, you're just saying, can it go upside? It can go upside, but there's no setup for it. Your structure right here is bearish. All right, so we haven't put in a bullish pattern yet. If it does something like this, then I'd say, yeah, we're going to go upside to here. If it sweeps and then puts in a reason to use this liquidity here, but until it gives you a reason to say it's going to trade upside, there's no reason to think it's going to trade upside. Remember, it's got stops here and stops here. These are easy targets to come for first. So what is the structure on the session? Here's the structure. This is where buyers are, but is there a signal to buy down here? No. Your location isn't bad, but your momentum's terrible, right? Lower high, lower high, lower high. Why are we trying to buy this if it can stop run us? We don't want to buy that. Right, let the market prove itself to you. Let it show you it wants to go higher and then join it. Don't be guessing the lows for a reversal spot. Once we either show that we're going to protect this or sweep it, just some form of clear evidence that we are going to go into a buy signal, then we can take it, yeah? And we can use like the IBL as our level of protection. But I think if you're taking this here, we're just building liquidity, you're very, very likely to get snapped on first. And even if that doesn't happen, even if you take that with your stop here and you go straight up, I don't love that trade. I think you're teaching yourself to guess the lows. And then you'll get yourself into bad habits in the future. Yes, we're trading edges. I would agree if that's your thought process. It's an edge trade, but I don't like the structure for it yet. Leg, pullback, leg, pullback, probable leg. Remember, 60s is the level here where sellers last came in. Like it a little bit more now watching ES. I need to see how we close, how long we got left. 30 seconds into an M5, M15. Like I said, 60s is where sellers came in. Right, this is where we came in. Do they sell this? Ty Daniel, yeah, I mean, it's possible, just your structure isn't good for that, right? The structure isn't, the level's good. What you're seeing is good, but the structure and the way that we're moving into that isn't good. If you're looking at that, right, and we do this, then it's better, right? If we trap underneath, trap breakout shorts underneath, return inside, and you can buy here risking that, that's an easier trade because you're definitely on the right side of momentum then. But right now, this just looks like a reason to go lower. Remember, sellers were at 60, we just traded to 60. So unless you get a failed breakdown or a sweep, I don't like the longs. Personally, you trade your book how you want to. I'm not telling you how to trade. I'm telling you what I'm looking at, yeah? How I would trade this. I wouldn't be looking for longs right now. Anyone on tool, would you use Apex or Trade If? Do you mean Tradeify for a prop account? Any good reason why? For me, Tradeify, better rules, pay out more consistently. Once you pass Tradeify, you know you don't have your trailing drawdown the same like intraday or anything like that. There's different types of accounts, so you can have an account just like Apex for where you pass it, it's based on trailing drawdown. You can have one which is more of a static drawdown. If you are very, very strict with yourself and you want to load up on 20 accounts and you're going to be very, very cautious and scalp out, then Apex is fine, but you cannot be adding to losers too much, and you must be consistent with your size and your stops. It all depends on how you trade. I would say mindful matters. I'd say Tradeify will be easier to get payouts from, but you can only have 5 accounts. And they do not deny you. Nice, yeah. I mean, static on Apex is a good option as well if you don't want to worry about that intraday trading drawdown. So I'm going to be with you here just over another half an hour or so. We're trading to lunch. Starting to see some tapering here. I'm going to be honest, I don't love Top Step right now, and I've got accounts with them, but they are not fulfilling their duties to traders right now. They need to hire a lot more help, which they haven't done. They kept promising they were going to do it. If you raise a ticket with Top Step, you're not going to be answered for a long time. Top Step X has more and more bugs. There are lots of people having issues with Trade Copier on Top Step X, which means you're likely to move away from Top Step X and use something like Ninja and Tradeovate, in which case you can't use the 10x multiples of micro contracts. All right, so if let's say you have a 50k account and you can trade up to 5 minis, you could only trade 5 micros when you use anything other than Top Step X. So I think they've been greedy and they've tried to corner the market, and it's backfiring on them a little bit right now. They're also a little bit pricey, but they do pay. You know, I've had a lot of payouts from Top Step. They do pay. I think they have their own issues right now, which they need to sort out. I think they're becoming a little less competitive. So I think a little complacency in the market space might cause problems for them. Yeah, exactly, Johnny. But they're a good firm. You know, they pay out. I haven't had any issues other than customer service with them. So ES trying to reclaim its initial balance low. It's trying to reprice up towards 45s. Starting to see some tapering here now. Failure to move below this. Potential squeeze out. Remember, 60s is your sort of key level, and how we act here will become key. Can we build liquidity? But this is building a range down here now. This is messy. I'm definitely not trading this. This is asking for issues, in my opinion, down here. How many props am I trading in 2025? 3 or 4? I'm testing one at the moment. I'm not going to say who it is until I pass the evals and take some money out of the market with them. I want to make sure they're good before I think about talking about them to anyone. But Apex, Top Step, I still have some accounts with. Traderfire, my main ones. Maybe I'll, if there's a good sale on, maybe I'll grab some on TickTick. Yeah, I've got 7 Traderfires running right now. You can max 2 minis and 20 micros. Oh, on Apex, nice. And I will look for someone who offers swings, or I'll do it on my own account, because I think gut feeling is there's going to be some big opportunities coming in Q1, Q2 this year. And I just want to have some contracts on and leave them for swings. I would have loved it if I was in the market for that move back up to 22,100. That kind of move there. I think that might pay dividends for the year. Anyone that took that pump up for the reprice on the daily. And this move here, I think, was a very, very obvious nice move. We go from all-time high to the swing low. Here's your imbalance. And we traded into it, setting our first lower high on the daily for as long as I can remember. If we break down here, we go into a bearish market for Q1 in the year. If we sell the news on Trump, I think anyone who is swing short there is going to have a monster year. It was always my opinion, at least to here, and I think there's a good chance we start failing down here and below. I think there's a good chance buyers, this is euphoria market, this is mean market, and this is probably sensible market on a daily. Yeah, this is where sensible volume is right now. There is nothing to say in my mind that we cannot do a sell the news event like this, break down beneath here and trade downside. It's still be bullish on a monthly, but trade down to here makes sense to me if they've trapped buyers up here. But so far, missed opportunity. It wasn't at the desk to take this. And so now I have to wait to see if we do a lower low on a daily for that structure. Yeah, look, Traderfy is, here's the difference, right? Traderfy might cost you that little bit more, but you have different choices of accounts, so you can choose the one that suits you. You can go direct funding if you want to do that and not faff around with everything else. They have their own server with Tradervate. They pay out in hours, okay, not in days. There's no crappy rules, right? There's nothing to stop you having, like, I don't know, DCA or a bit more drawdown one day than other days. You just got to be consistent. The 20% rule is the only thing you need to worry about there. Okay, so starting to pivot here, like I said, a little bit choppy here, trading back into through 60s now, probably back to VWAP. How we act into 35s, I think, is going to be key now. ES failed to break down underneath that IBL. So ES offering that failed auction trade. am I day trading or swing trading or both? Right, day trading on futures, investing on ETFs, swings and investments on ETFs. I would like to take a swing on some futures, just with some small size for Q1, Q2, if I can see a setup that I like. So I have accounts with Saxo and why can't my brain work? Who is the other one I have an account with? Find it down here. Can't even see it. TradeStation. God, I couldn't think. And TradeStation. And also with a UK company as well. I can't think who it is. So I have a few spread out. Yeah, you look a little bit better now, but still your structure is still downside. All right, so in terms of pivots, it's a lower low. If this is a lower high, it still trades downside. I think the issue is you were calling it here, which is fine. Trade up to there makes sense, but the structure-wise, for me, is still downside until proves otherwise, until we get something like that. But we're just in a range rotation. I understand what you're saying. Protecting these lows, it makes sense to protect those lows. What I didn't like is ES was trading down here under these lows, which meant this was a low-hanging fruit trade. But I understand what you're saying, Johnny, which is why I was like, if that's your trade setup, trade it. It's just not what I'm looking for. But you're right, like, we're showing that we want to move upside right now on the lower time frame. It's just we haven't taken out key pivots. Steve, not really. I don't think really it's that tough. I just think if you go on those accounts with the base hits, whatever that is, so like a daily goal, whether that's 20 points, 30 points, 50 points, 100 points, whatever it is, and you just stick to that. And if you go over it some days, that's right, you just trade another day. You know, you only need I think, is it 10 days or 5 days? I can't remember. Traderify, I think it's 10 days. It's not that hard. 1,000 a day for 10 days or 500 a day for 10 days. Yeah, 10 days. Not too hard. My feeling is we're just building a range down here to go lower. Honestly, that's my feeling. Looking at like an M5. This right here. I think we're going to build liquidity here. Whether it's today or tomorrow, we're going to use this liquidity to come and attack lows and then see what's what. I can be wrong. I mean, we have buyers down here and we have sellers up here that we've attacked numerous times. I mean, this is definitely not nice trade zone, to be honest, in between these. A breakout above and go, or a failed breakout and a breakout below and go, or a failed breakout are more optimal trades. You would have noticed I've like calmed right down and chilling out right now. It's because I've taken my trades, I've locked in some good money, and I'm just waiting now to see what next. The ATRs is wild. If you jump the gun in this market and force yourself in early, really running the risk of having like a 100-point run over in no time. You have to use hard stops. Yeah, this is my accounts today, so some of them I've left. You can tell which one stopped working. Trade copy just stopped without me knowing. Lovely. Always nice. In the usual market, CC 20 to 30 points, but right now you can't really do that. You can't really do that. You're gonna run it too tight. Very, very hard. So you got to size down. Like if you took this short here, really you should be risking high of day. That's 40 points. Risking that. Partial 1, partial 2 runner, I guess. Replicanto. You can use Apex Copier as well. I have both actually. Yeah, Johnny. Yeah, totally. I am the same as you. I don't want to be the guy guessing. I want to be a little bit late, ideally right on time when the party gets busy. But yeah, I don't want to be early in guessing. Guessing tops and bottoms is what I did earlier in my career and how I got stuck, right? Which is why I built this whole system. So this sell here is actually firing this cross here. Right, so I don't want to guess this. I want to take a breakdown. I don't want to guess this. I want to take a pullback. Not really interested in reversal trades. Like I said, I still think this is building to go lower, but who knows? I have my regular Ninja Trade account. I'm wondering why I should focus. Wondering, should I just focus on my own account? Seems like people are content with prop accounts. I think it all comes down to leverage and risk. Yeah, so like if you're happy to take a little bit more leverage and risk versus multiple accounts, props work for you. But obviously they come with their own conditions and own issues. And if they go wrong, if you make an error or go on tilt one day, you're not exposed to a huge amount of capital. That's the good thing with props. Bad thing with props is you have to adhere to all their rules. You can't swing overnight. You know, you might be in a really nice position and you think it's going to have a continuation overnight and you have to close that position and come back in. If you're copying, you get slippage or you get issues, like positives and negatives to both. For me, I like day trading with props and swing trading with own money. That makes the most sense for me because in swings, I want to sit in that position overnight multiple times. Yeah, if you didn't know, Johnny, I used to trade with a load of guys from there in small caps. So we used to have our own room. 2020, 2021, 2022. Yeah, I can't get on board with that. I'm afraid, Kermadegan. Just not how I play. I'm never going to go against the momentum. If you're early, you're going against the momentum. So it's still holding here. Every little imbalance is starting to hold here. All right, engulfing candles, starting to reprice this, starting to hold those 60s that we talked about. If it starts to melt beneath this, I think we roll over to here. These are your pivots. This is VWAP. It wants to come and tag VWAP. ES looking pretty good. But again, coming into the supply it's created. Again, I just feel like we're just in a range now. This is our range for the session. Not really interested in playing that range. But just because I trade this way doesn't mean you need to trade this way. Yeah, so if that's how you like to trade, Deegan, then by all means trade that way. I'm not going to tell anyone how to trade. There's a million ways to trade the market. This is just how I like to trade. I trade off key levels on the higher time frame, and I look to play with the trend on the lower time frame, ideally in the same direction as the higher time frame trend. Those offer the easiest and best trades, right? Higher time frames in a sell, lower time frames in a sell. I want to sell with the market. How do I deal with reverse psychology? For instance, when in a winning trade, you're fearful, but in a losing trade, you're hopeful. Well, just remove fear and hope. You don't want any of those. You just shouldn't be trading off emotion. If you've got enough statistics on your side, you should be just trading what the market's offering you. Yeah, so fear and hope normally comes in when you're not trading a set strategy. So for me, I'm trading the same strategy every single day. I turn up and I follow this and I follow these here, and I trade what I'm looking for every single day. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's just part of the market. That's okay. It's okay to be wrong. If you've got set risk, that's good trading. Let's say today, you know, I got short here, I risked this, it worked out, good trade. Let's say I got long here, I didn't take partial for whatever reason, and it broke down here, and I set my stop under here at this level here and stopped me out for a loss, still a good trade. If, however, I chased the market long up here and I added and I added and I added and I added in hope that it would work out and I blew up, that is my own fault, right? Hope's not a strategy. That means I'm going against the momentum of the trade. Like we talked about, squeeze up can give it all back very quickly. So it's just understanding your strategy. If you backtest your strategy enough, it should start to remove this like hope and fear complex, and you should start to trade what is in front of you. Nice work, Johnny. Very nice work. I mean, this, if I go to ES, this will make more sense, right? Those who follow me, ES did a trade that I look for a lot. So I don't know if you're new here, Johnny. I haven't seen your name before, but for me, this is a failed breakout of the initial balance. So when you're talking about the long, this here for me is a long back to VWAP. All day, every day, this is a failed auction underneath initial balance, failed the auction, trade inside, reclaim the level. This is a high probability trade back to VWAP from IB low to VWAP. That's a trade I would have taken if you're like, are you looking for longs? On the Qs, what I didn't like is we didn't come and take out any of the key levels. Yeah, we held, you can argue we held this level here, but this pullback here for me hasn't reclaimed flow zones and we haven't swept. So it's a no trade play for me. If it was on ES, that was a go. That was a go trade for sure. So this is what I mean about I stick to my rules. It means I didn't take that trade, but you know, tomorrow, maybe we get that trade. Maybe it sets up. Those who are here all the time know how much I take that initial balance to VWAP trade. It's such a highly probable trade. It happens every single day in the market. Even when I haven't been here, I haven't looked, I bet it's happened numerous times. Let's go back and have a look. So this day, what day was this? 31st. This was your trend day down, right? This is respecting downside momentum, retests initial balance, failure. So rather than reclaim to VWAP, failure lower. That's a trend day lower versus IB low. Using flow zones, very, very easy. Let's keep going back. IB high, IB low. This is an odd session here where we've traded, extended through IB low, held a gap, traded to IB high and VWAP, and then expanded above IB high. And this will be a measured move. I'd expect above it. Well, apparently I can't grab my fib. There we go. So you go, measured move. So this is the same size as this in the initial balance. All right, so understanding the initial balance for me and my flow zones gives me edge in the market. So we can keep going back. Right, here's a good one. Initial balance, high, failed, creates initial balance low, sweeps the low, trades back inside, trades to VWAP, closes the day around VWAP. So over and over and over again, it just requires patience in the market. There you go. So there's your VWAP tag right now, Johnny. So I'd be partialing out. If you're still holding any, I think you said you closed 4 trades. 60 hour. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Yeah, I've been at it a little while now, Johnny. All right, so trade through VWAP. Where can we go? All right, we're thinking about this is supply here. So if you're still holding runners, you respect that. Here's your IB high. Again, previous day open levels. These are old gap fills. Let's get this gone off the chart. Start cleaning this up. Ty, yes, they did. They absolutely printed. They definitely printed. But like I said, like I just talked about, I prefer the trade that you were talking about off the lows, off the ES because of the initial balance. But they did print. It was a good call. Like I said, you can take those trades, just not a trade that I'm looking for. Doesn't mean it isn't a trade just because I don't want to take it. Tons of different ways to trade the market. I'm never going to sit here and tell people your way's wrong. There's no wrong way. Flip a coin if you want. If your RR is good. I execute in Ninja. Yeah, I execute all my trades in Ninja. What you're looking at is TradingView because I can't. This system that I've built for you, these flow zones right here, right? I can't do this in Ninja. I've only built it in TradingView for now. So until I have my version of Ninja live, I can't use that. Yeah, it's all good, Ty. I was tempted to flip over to ES and take that trade, the same trade but on ES because I preferred it in that market. But it's okay. Can't get them all. That's the other thing with trading, right? You cannot get all the trades. For now, I still think we're in a range. It is a huge range. I still think we're just in this, maybe a breakout above this, but we're running out of room into this supply block up here. Rotation lower still makes sense to me, but really on the dailies, that back test, I would have loved to have seen this back test into these levels here. Check this out a second. Yeah, into these levels here. And then we can think about expansion if the Bollinger starts to play ball with us. Back down into here and here. Remember, if we think about a daily, right, make sure I'm on the right chart. Here's your daily swings. Right, I'd say this is a soft high. This is a lower high. I want to see if we can come back down into here. I really want to see if the market's going to make a lower low and come back down into here. This would be the first lower low we would have made since, what's the last one we did? July, right, in terms of pivot structure. And then if we trade into here, maybe we offer this trade. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to forward think here. Maybe we offered this trade if we're really going to sell the news. If we don't, then I think we could even do this for a long part of period this year before we come and retest. It really depends how things set up with the Fed, how the tariffs go, macro type events, news, all eyes on Nvidia and its new chip. How much does that affect the market? Do we continue this AI bubble or not? Remove that. I'm going to remove this and this. Let's start cleaning this up. Yeah, coming into lunch. Yeah, and remember we're thin. What I would say is there is a seller on the book at 350 and 400. I reckon he's the same player because he's like 75, 70 lots. So 350 and 400, if they start to expand, he's looking to sell into those moves. catch up with what you guys are all saying. Yeah, I'm taking profits here. I may be early, but we're hitting, yeah, we're hitting VWAP. Yeah, I think locking in profits there is good. You're at the, not just VWAP, you're at the edge of this range, right? If they protect this, right? If this is the range set, you might do this and this. So you bought the lows and you're selling the highs on that range. And it's a big move. That's a big move, 100 points. Often exit early, but not on entries. Yeah. I'm thinking about your course, but use Ninja Trading. When do you think this would be available for Ninja? Is how I found your channel when you were on NT. In the course, Crawford, if you do the course, you will see that I have everything set up for Ninja. I just don't have it as one single available indicator, right? So here's my Ninja. It's the same, right? But I just don't have it as one available indicator for Ninja. But I execute in that, as do most people that do the course. So you won't be alienated. Most people in the room and that do the course execute on Ninja. It's just, this is better for streaming. Hope that makes sense. Yeah, nice work, Johnny. Great work. It's a good day. It's a very good day. But yeah, hopefully the pricing will be fixed and the course will be available once they get back to me from Teachable. But yeah, everything, once you get into the room, which comes free when you do the course, there's like a little zip package in the Discord room, and it has everything in for you to put on NinjaTrader, so it looks the same. But yeah, if you found me through NinjaTrader, then you'll know that I set up my NinjaTrader so it looks like TradingView. That's the video that's on YouTube that people watch. Oh, Newport Beach, yeah, you're just down the road. Just down the road. I'm over by like Manhattan, Santa Monica area, not far. So you're an early riser, just like me. Have to get up early when you're on the West Coast, but you get the rest of your day, which is nice. Done by 9 a.m. Always nice. No, you can't do that. It just shows you the liquidity. It will show you when it thinks people have been stopped, which run a lot of levels if you have add-ons, but it's just showing you liquidity. So that seller at 21,350 on the book, we don't know if that is a short seller or someone stopping there. Leron, is the indicator available on TradingView? If you mean the flow zones, yeah, it's available on TradingView, but only for people who are part of the course. It comes for free. I don't sell it, it's just for free because I teach it, so I have to make it available, and all updates become available. I don't sell it. I've been offered by companies to sell it through their program, but for me it's important it's for members of the course. And I'm also working on an algo script to do everything as well, as in execute orders. Okay, here's your push through VWAP. SPY not quite through it yet. ES I don't think quite through it, but very, very close. There you go. There's the squeeze and the breakout through VWAP. So we're returning back to highs here. So coming and tagging that lower time frame algorithm, repricing this last move, can fib this out into golden pocket here. If we squeeze through, what I would say is that IB high is very, very obvious stop level up there. Never really pushed through it and broken. So if we're going to trade now, we're going to trade up to 72. Supply starts at 72, basically. So you can think about this here as where sellers have been present in the market. It doesn't mean it stops there. That's just the edge of your range. So this is sellers in the market, and this here is where buyers have been in the market. Intraday, we're talking intraday, not higher time frame. Nice. Are you a surfer then, Johnny, or were you a surfer? You're down that way. So tagging the lower time frame algo here. Remember, the higher time frame momentum technically is still bearish with the lower time frame algorithm below the higher time frame algorithm. This is below this, so technically we're still in a bear cycle on the higher time frame while it builds out liquidity. It's just where the, I'm not going to give edge, but it's where the market likes to use back tests between higher time frame and lower time frame. Right, so multiple times it will trade from one to the other and back and forth, building liquidity. Not really willing to say too much more than that. It came from a lot of back testing. So 10 minutes left. Yeah, I thought you would be. Nice. I haven't surfed for a while, actually. To be honest, the water's been a bit crap for like 18 months now, at least where I am. After we had that big storm, it changed the sand breaks around El Segundo. So it became even more dumpy, and we didn't have waves for a while. And then there were so many sewage leaks and oil leaks. I don't have one up at the moment, TR. The price has gone up. I might start one, but I need to have a email discussion with Teachable and have them fix the website a little bit. Unfortunately, the price has gone up this year. We did the introduction price last year of $4.99, and I ran a sale most of the year for everyone. I even had a sale all the way up until yesterday. It's finished, so price has now gone up to $6.49. But it's just a one-time fee. So liquidity coming onto the book now. 380. Seller up at 380, bids down at 330, 325. Still pretty thin. That 330, 325 will be your VWAP on the Qs if they're going to hold it. Remember that structure, that would be the edge of the old range. The old range was right here and here. If they're going to hold this, they're going to look for a rotation up. If they're going to fail this, you have trendline liquidity and they can easily come back down inside. You are still in an inside day, all right? There are no breakout traders in this market. This is an inside day and it's likely to stay this way. Hopefully, we get a double inside day. If we can print inside tomorrow, it means coming into next week, we have a lot of buyers and sellers trapped in this market. That will make a very, very nice continuation move. Yeah, well, I feel the same. I hit the big 4-0 this year, so haven't really surfed for a while. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've never done that, actually. Never kite surfed. I'm sure that's good fun. Get some serious speeds doing that. Nice to be back on stream. A little bit rusty for sure. Stay dry paragliding, yeah. Even more nuts though, no? Even more crazy. So inside that range, sweeping the stops. Remember, liquidity trend built. All right, so we've got buyers, 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 buyers. What does the market like to do? It likes to make sure these buyers get knocked out of the market. We are just trading between levels right now, right? Just lots of range being built in this market. Like I said, I think we will close as an inside day. Ideally, tomorrow does the same. I'm watching the relationship between the Bollinger Bands and the 5-day and the 20-day. Those who have done the course, you will know why. There is a free video on YouTube if you want to learn how I use the Bollinger Bands on a daily time frame. Right, for trades like today, where we don't expand lower, we get stuck at that lower Bollinger Band, and then we try and back test. All right, we went over it right at the beginning. All right, 6:20, or for me, 6:20, 9:20 a.m. this morning, we went over it. Yeah, it's a good trade. It's a good trade, Ty Daniel. Don't need to overstay your welcome. It's a good trade, 100+ point trade. It's good work. I don't think I've ever water skied actually, which is odd. Snowboard, I ski, I surf, or used to surf more. I would like to get up in the mountains this year. I haven't gone. I didn't go last year. I haven't even looked at, I don't know if you do it, Johnny, but I haven't looked at Big Bear or anywhere like that. If they've even had snow this year, it's been pretty dry in California. Snow mass. Look that up. What's snow mass? Sounds like a festival. Just wondering here if we break back down versus these flow zones, if they start to roll, and do we trade back into 40s? There's a buyer at 250, and there's a seller at 380 right now. M1, yeah, you could argue that. I'd be looking at this level here more, Tyson, 290s. But yeah, potentially you're talking about this pivot here at 33s, yeah. But can easily just set a trap here to go higher. That's why I'm watching these sort of 290s, how we act. Because you have these stops that we talked about right here. We've just swept them out. If we start doing this move, I think we look good for lower back into this pocket. We're stuck at VWAP right now, or just under VWAP. But remember, you're coming into lunch, you've got like 90 seconds or so, just over, into lunchtime. Some of those sellers just started pulling their orders at 50s and 70s. Ty, I go live around 9:15, 9:20 every morning before market opens. We just do some higher time frame analysis down into lower time frame, and then I trade into lunch. I'll be gone in a minute or two. Yeah, nice, Tyson. Yes, I am. Yeah. Any setups that I see, I normally have a break over lunch for an hour or so. And then I go into Discord and I'm saying what I'm looking at. Market maker's been fairly predictable lately. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, definitely off a daily, I'd say I agree with you. I can't say for sure, only because I haven't been here. So I really haven't watched how they've, or haven't watched how they've acted the last, well, when did I finish trading? 20th? Was it 20th? I'm trying to remember when I stopped. I think maybe 20th or something was my last day trading. Yeah, I haven't been here for a little while. Took like a nice extended break. Yes, Jim, 9:15 East Coast time. So like 15 minutes before New York Open every single day, Monday to Friday. I am interested if this breaks down here. It's not optimal times. Watching the hourly. We're trading right into point of control. I think potentially a trade into 300 here is possible. It's not. It's nothing, is it? Look at the range on the day. If they let go of 300, maybe we'll rotate lower. Yeah, TR, like I was saying earlier, there's some problem with it updating to the new price. I've emailed Teachable, who are like the software behind the course. So hopefully it'll be sorted today. I'm doing my best to get it sorted because it's not ideal for anyone. Yeah, best just shoot myself in the foot and let everyone have the introductory price for forever. I might be forced to do that for a bit if they don't fix it, so you might get lucky. You never know. But later today, it might be that while they're fixing it, so you might get lucky. Yeah, here's to new beginnings. Exactly, Johnny. I'm looking forward to a good year this year. Nice, steady year this year. Made my goals, wrote them down. Over my break in Arizona, wrote down everything I'm looking to achieve this year. See if we can stick to it. All right, team, that's me done. Here we go. Maybe it's going to break down under that 300 now. That point of control. I think if it breaks down here, we run straight back down, sweep all these stops and trade back into 60s and then 40s. It's possible. Why trade futures versus just SPY or SPX? I would say multiple reasons. First of all, for me being on West Coast, it means if I want to trade London or Asia, I can, rather than having to get up early every day. I invest in SPY. So I trade those anyway with commons rather than options. The other reason is leverage, volatility, not having to worry about, I mean, unless you're trading commons and SPY, which is probably not the best way to do it. It's probably better to do it with options, but then you've got to deal with all the Greeks, right? And which I don't want to do. I just want to trade price action in front of me without worrying about all the Greeks. So I think those are the main reasons. With the leverage, with the possibility of having multiple accounts as well, if you're going to trade with prop firms. I mean, ideally this year I get to 30 or 40 accounts, and you know, then a $300 day turns into a very, very big day, right? Just a small day would turn into a very big day. I mean, if you think about this right now, so I have all these accounts. These are all lives. These are not all live. Some of these are ones I'm trying to get past. Like I said, I'll tell you who they are once I pass them and take a payout from them, because I don't want people using a firm which could be a bit dodgy. So I want to make sure it's good first. But that is a huge day if you times that by 30 or 40. So that's probably the main reason. You can trade. There are props which will let you trade things like SPY and SPX, things like trade the pool. You too, Johnny. Alex, you know your website does not have a favicon. I don't even know what a favicon is. What does that mean? Yeah, they're good dudes. They're good dudes. I mean, I wasn't there, but I traded with a bunch in a private room. Icon on the browser tab. Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, they're a good bunch. They're a good bunch. They have some good videos for free. I'm sure you've checked them out already, Johnny. And I know Lance just launched a course recently, I think just before Christmas. All right, I'm out of here. Good work today, team. Hopefully some of you got some of these trades. Not an easy day. I mean, easy day in terms of levels, but it wasn't that kind in terms of giving those pullbacks, which are my favorite trades. This sort of V-shaped recovery here without really, you know, I would have loved this move here. That would have been beautiful. And then a bit of the same back down towards demand, and we're just trading between levels. So just keep it simple today. Don't overcomplicate it. I would be very, very cautious about trading lunch. I would not be surprised if you see this market completely dry up into the weekend now. I think lots of traders would have come back today, but most will come back on Monday. Just bear in mind where you are on this daily chart. All right, be really, really concentrate on this daily chart. We are in an inside bar between the lower bowl and the 5-day, 20-day. All right, we might print another bar like this, and then we come into next week with this happening. And then we have the option of continuation lower, or a failed breakout lower, or a breakout higher, or a failed breakout higher, right? And then we have clear liquidity levels which we can use off to go and aim for the next level. All right. So far, last year, every good trade has come from a failed breakdown. This was a failed breakdown upside. This was a hold of S&R. This was a failed breakdown. We traded upside. This was the same. Pullback, S&R, failed breakdown, upside. This was a failed breakdown, upside. So I am aware of that. But I've constantly said, if anyone who's traded with me from, I don't know when I started, September, Q1, I think we're in for some trouble. And I still think that. I think that push, that Santa Claus rally and that push was a huge amount of profit taking. And I think we might be into a sell the news event coming. So that's what I'm thinking about. Macro, all right? I'm talking about macro. I'm talking about next week. I'm talking about this whole quarter, what I'm thinking about. Until then, we trade what's in front of us, right? Don't be too rigid. Trade what is in front of you. Again, be cautious with your sizing, especially. There's one thing you need to be aware of. If this market slows down over lunch and into the afternoon, and you start going from 50, 60, 70 points ATR, and you're suddenly into 10 points, 5 points, etc., you have to remain cautious with your sizing, because if someone comes in and hits that bid, hits that ask, covers their whole position, you can easily run 60 points in a candle. And if you haven't got a hard stop in, you are going to get mowed over. So please be cautious. All right, I will see you same time tomorrow. Thanks all those new traders who joined me. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. I'll put the alerts on. I'll be here tomorrow. And yeah, I totally agree, Johnny. I do talk about that sometimes. And yeah, trade safe. Big love. Have a great start to the year. And thanks for joining. Peace and love.